Hi there and welcome. The summer is on its way apparently, although looking out the window I'm not too sure about that. But with the summer comes obviously cooking in the garden, barbecues specifically, and people will start thinking about dusting off their barbecues and things, and thinking of pork chops, sausages, burgers. So today what I want to do is show you how I make some tasty homemade beef burgers. This is actually fairly simple to mix up, and what I generally tend to do is freeze them unless I've got a barbecue planned for the following day, and then I'll just stick them all in the fridge. But normally if I'm not planning a barbecue, then I'll freeze them because they cook very well from frozen, just as well as from fresh. So the one thing I would say though with making a burger mix is you have to have a little bit of preparation. And one of the things which I find exceedingly useful for preparing burgers after you mix them up, and also for storing them, is this, what is it? Non-stick grease-proof and baking paper from Tesco. So what you want to do is actually cut out sections of this to so that you can use them along the way without having to stop the flow of actually making the burgers themselves. I'll show you as we go along anyway. So obviously the next thing we'll do, as we normally do, is to go through the ingredients. The first thing you'll need is some steak mince 15% fat from Tesco's. So that is the meat that we'll be using. It needs to be 15% fat as a minimum for burgers. That's that. We need an onion, one onion, some salt, you'll need some mixed herbs, 1 teaspoon of mixed herbs. You'll need some rosemary. I know mixed herbs has got rosemary in it, but you need a separate bit of rosemary. It needs to have a slight rosemary flavour to it, or slightly stronger rosemary flavour to it. Need pepper. Stop wondering about. Right, you need onion granules or onion powder. So you need some of that. What else do you need? You need an egg. I won't throw that on here, it'll break. It'll just wander around. 1 egg. You'll also need some breadcrumbs. I nearly forgot about them. You need about 3 teaspoons of those. Paxo breadcrumbs. And that's it, hopefully. And the last thing you'll need is a special cutter. Now this is actually made, this is what I use to cut out the burgers themselves out of the mixture, and this actually came from the top of a sweet jar. It was actually, I think, a Bassett's licorice allsort sweet jar. So what I did, I just cut the top off the plastic jar and then just smoothed it around, and then I can use that for cutting out the burgers. And that's all you need. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is chop up the onion. What we're actually going to do with the onion is mince it, really. There's various stages of chopping. There's like chopping things up, there's dicing them, there's mincing them, and then there's pureeing them. And each one gets smaller and smaller. If you see what I mean. I think it's probably easier to top and tail this first. So, okay, so because we're mincing the onion, what we're actually going to do is put it through a little blending thing I got. Now it actually chops it up, and however there's a fine line between mincing it and actually turning it into puree, so you've got to be a little careful with this one. So what I'll do is I'll just cut it into quarters and then put them in like that, and then blend them. Right, so if we just move that to one side slightly, we'll get our little blender out. It's just a simple little cutter thing. Make sure it's locked in. We're going to have a bowl here. Find some room. Got any room? Right. So we'll put our first bit in. And then we're going to chop it up. Which way does this go? Take that off. We get our bowl. And our fork. Get a wee plate here. I want to take the cutter off. Put that on there. That's not too bad. That's about right. It's sort of minced. You just don't want to overdo it. This onion gets everywhere. Okay, that'll do for that. Okay, the next thing in the big scheme of things is to add the minced beef. So you want to take it out of the pat. So I said it's 750 grams of a minimum of 15% fat minced beef. This is my favourite stirring thing. It's about 20 years old. God knows what it's got on it. It does get washed though. So what we're going to do is just mix this in with the onion. Mix it. Now the next thing we need to add to this is some onion granules or onion powder. You need 2 teaspoons of this stuff. Now we'll add some herbs, some mixed herbs, 1 teaspoon. And you want some extra rosemary. Right, you need 3 heaped spoons of breadcrumbs. These are the Paxo ones. Now you need 2 teaspoons of salt. We don't want too much salt. That'll do. Too much salt and they'll taste salty. Funny old thing. Right, the next thing is some pepper. That'll do. Right, what we missed? Must have missed something. So an egg got to go in. Right, egg next. So we're going to take an egg. If I can find where I put it, there it is. Eggs are messy. Now you just got to whisk this up a bit. Right, tip this in. Right, it's pretty much time to start getting your hands dirty now. You've got to mix this all in with your fingers. So it's really well mixed in. Okay, here we go. As I said before, it's probably better to have your meat at room temperature before you do this, as opposed to coming straight out of the fridge. Otherwise, a few minutes down the road, your fingers will be freezing, and it won't be fun anymore. Right, you've got to mix this in really well. Get everything off the sides of the bowl into the mix. And if you have hot spots of salt or pepper or any of the spices, when I say hot spots, sort of local areas where the concentration is higher than anywhere else, then someone's going to get a bad burger. Right, I'm just going to let it settle for a couple of minutes. It's pretty much mixed in now, I would say. Come here, wandering off. keep a bowl of water by my side, wash my hands off him, and a tea towel somewhere. There it is. Right, I think we're pretty much mixed up here. Let's give it a final polishing off. You know, if I said to my wife, I made these lovely burgers, would you like to wash up the pots and pans? She'd probably say, negative Ghost Rider, the pattern is called. To quote from some film I can't remember the title of. Right, what we're going to do, this is where I said earlier that it was preferable to actually get some grease-proof paper together. And I'll show you what I mean. If you haven't pre-cut it, then you should have cut it by now. So we're going to pop this on here. Grease-proof paper. Let's get rid of this. Don't need that no more. I hope I put everything in, I can't remember. I'm sure I'll find out if I haven't. Right, just get a chunk of this stuff. Stick it on there. Now what we're going to do, make our hands a little bit wet. What we're going to do is put one of those over there, and then we're going to get a roller and we're going to start rolling. Now, how thick you want your burgers is up to you. See what we got. Now I'm going to actually pop these in the freezer. So I'm going to put them in a box. However, I'll put one aside so that you can see me cooking it. Not that anyone needs to know how to cook a burger, but I thought it would just add to the video. So I'll put that there. I'll get my cutter made from a licorice all sorts sweet jar. What I'll do is I need my box. I'll put that there. What I do when I put things in the freezer is I put greaseproof paper on everything because you need it. If it doesn't, especially when it freezes, it will stick to things unless you have greaseproof paper on it. So that's one layer of greaseproof paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. And just rotate it a bit. And that should give me a burger. What I should have done is actually just... There you go. There's a burger. Alright. I'm going to pop that in here. See that? Alright. What I do here, after putting, there's two burgers at the bottom. Now in order to keep them flat, put a bit of cardboard over the top of the greaseproof paper, and then I put a bit more greaseproof paper over that. You don't want to put the burgers straight onto the cardboard, that would be a disaster. Right, so now we need to mix up a bit more. I've got too much paper everywhere. Never mind. Mix this up again. one more, and then I think you'll probably get the hang of this by now. You understand what's going on. So we'll stop after this one, and then I'll show you how I fry them. Basically, if I'm not using the barbecue, then I'll put them on a griddle, cast iron griddle. On you go. On you go. Obviously, the thinner you roll them, the more you'll get. But also, the thinner they are, the quicker they'll cook. So that gives you lots of choices. Lots of choices. Right, that'll do. Right, that was actually quite even, that one. Down it goes. Take this off here. Pop it back in the bowl. Right back on there. Right. Ooh, this one's stuck inside there. And stick that on there. Right. I'm not going to show you how to do any more because I think you've probably got the idea. So the next step is to cook one. Okay, so now we're going to do the cooking, and I fully understand that burgers generally go out on the barbecue, which is the whole reason for making them, and that's what we generally do most of the time. However, today, just for a demonstration, I'm going to just cook one on the hob. I'm going to use one of my favourite things for cooking is a cast iron griddle. I think it's the best way to cook burgers really is on a hot plate of some description or other. So I'm just going to get this one ready. The first thing to do is put a little bit of oil in and then brush it all around. And then once it heats up, we'll start the burger. That will probably do. So we just brush this around. Make sure you cover all of it. The thing about cast iron cookware, especially enamelled cookware, you have to season it because otherwise everything sticks to it like crazy and they're absolutely devils to clean. But this one's sort of half seasoned, so it's not too bad. It's quite easy to clean now. But when I first got it, it was a real painstaking job to actually clean it after I'd cooked anything on it, especially burgers, because if burgers break up and stick to it, then that's what causes the issues. Right, so that's pretty much ready to get turned on. I always put this on about 4. And just let it heat up. Okay, I think everything is up to temperature now. One of the things about cast iron cookware is that you get very even heat and it stays hot a long time as well. So here's our burger. The rest obviously I'm going to put in the freezer, but this one I put to one side just so that I can show you cooking it. So in it goes. I find the best thing with burgers is just to let them sit there a while and cook. Don't mess them about by moving them with a skillet or anything. Just let them cook. ready to be moved about. Yeah, we can flip that one. Generally poke a few holes in it just to let the fat run out. I think the best indication with burgers is you can actually see the sides, how well they're cooked on the sides. And obviously when you throw things on a barbecue, you don't look for that, you just, when they go black, they're done. But in the kitchen you could probably be a bit more scientific about it. Just have a look at the sides, still a bit more to be done yet. Pretty much done now. I'm certainly hoping so, because I think the smoke alarm will go off in a minute. So we haven't got the fan on. Smoke alarms don't you dare go off. Okay, I think that's done now. Turn the heat off. Okay, there it is on the plate. Put a bit of cheese on it. And you got one tasty burger. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that, and I hope you all have a very good summer. Plenty of cooking in the garden and what have you, or also in the kitchen. You've got all the doors open to keep it cool. Hopefully we'll all have a fine summer and this lockdown thing will be history, and the whole COVID-19 will hopefully get under control so that we don't have to worry about it so much. If you want to get notifications about my future videos, and I will be bringing them out once every 2 weeks or so, depending on how much time I have on my hands, because I still need a haircut as well. I haven't had one yet, even though I promised last time. If you want notifications, then please hit the subscribe button, and that will give you notifications of all the future videos that I plan to bring out. So thank you again for watching, and see you next time. Bye.